Part of our motto at this school is that we rise. So as oftentimes our students' path and stories that brought them to Stanton have some struggles and potentially have some significant challenges that got them here and require a significant amount of resilience to be able to continue on with their education. So we are willing to think outside of the box so that they can reach the end goal of graduation and then continuing to commit to our community after that. Yeah. So this is, so we have graphic design and photography and airbrushing in this. So it's a CTE class. And so she's put out some of the projects that they've done. So you have the opportunity to see kind of some of the graphic design stuff as well as the airbrushing. And they have an opportunity to access all of her classes and can take them throughout their day. And being able to just submit, they do shirt pressing, they do a lot of the digital work, and then there's some of the hands-on with the airbrushing.
And they do an art show every year?
Yes, an art show in the spring. One of the things that is really highly successful in our campus is the student store, which is run by our marketing class. So students design the clothing that comes into Stanton, do all the creation of that, and then are open at lunches to offer the drinks and the different things. They do the weekly specials, which is typically one of our employees, which is always really fun because they draw them and you never quite look the same as you do in a character. Yeah. This is really our library space as well as our teacher and our IF, Ms. Meiser. So she uses our EL students, so one section of EL students, and then she runs this space as well as she's our instructional facilitator for the building.
Truly, up until 3 years ago, Stanton had no library, like zero access to books, only the books that teachers purchase. And so the opportunity for our students to use the space and to be able to have books and come in at lunch and have a homework space, but also reading. Our kids, we knew that they would be readers. We did not realize how much they would utilize the space. So we've been really appreciative, and it's been an amazing experience. The opportunity not only to be an instructional facilitator, but also to be able to be a pseudo librarian to these kids.
What I wanted to show today are a couple things. I teach financial fitness, I teach career choices, and then marketing, which is the student store. Another thing that I'm involved in, all of the CE teachers here are part of TSA, Technology Student Association. So we are gearing up right now. In fact, we're about 3 weeks away from state competition. And I wanted to show you, I have 2 fashion design teams this year, which is new because I've always only had 1. So this is last year's. This took 4th in state. In the corner on my wall where it says the power charger, the theme that year was to create something for somebody that somebody would wear if they worked at an amusement park. That took 1st in state and the kids went to nationals.
Oh wow, how cool.
The 2 here are in progress, and I'm going to turn this around so that Hector and Maria can be wowed. They were here 2 weeks ago, and we were cutting strips. They have not seen any of this. This is still a work in progress, and it's not completely sewn together. But this is what we were working on. So there's the back of their cape. They were cutting all these strips out. So the theme this year for these 2 is avant-garde, which just means a very over-the-top garment, wearable garment. And I will try to show you when this is finished.
Wow.
This is a hood that will be attached, and the cape will be finished. It will also have the accentuated shoulders, but not quite like this. And then the whole cage here will be lighted because they have to incorporate technology. This here, it's very hard for me to explain, but if I show you their sketches, it reminds me a little bit of Marie Antoinette. So this is all an after-school thing too. This all happens outside of the classroom. So it's really fun to see the kids. This year, since I've been doing TSAs the biggest year, we will take 8 students with us this year. We will compete in fashion design, and we also have a robotics team going.
That is so cool. So as I can see. This is obviously our shop, which has a lot of opportunities in here. So this year we added ag mechanics. Mr. Mapes is the teacher for that. On the other side, they do more of the robotics. So these classrooms are really the 2 spaces that are joined together, and kids are doing more of the hands-on and the machines. We have the welding bays that they added this end of last year, that students are now on and using pretty consistently in their classes. And so just giving the opportunity for Mr. Mapes or George, I don't know which one of you is if you're gonna share something, but just the opportunity to say just kind of what goes on. And there's always the engagement, the activity, and the excitement in this classroom is great. And we've got all these power tools, and we keep it all together down here. So it's a positive space for kids.
I'll give you a rundown on the shop in a minute, but George's going to tell you this is the last project these students did.
So this one right here, we're making dices, but at different densities or materials.
Could you- here.
Oh, sorry. Here you go. So yeah. So
We started with a piece of pine, and just to see, and it's a proper dice. It's the sequence is correct. Opposite sides on a dice have to equal 7. So they had a layout sheet. They had to work that out, and then we went to a piece of oak, and this was fairly easy because the oak didn't take a lot of finish, and it makes a nice piece.
I like this one the most, the metal or the aluminum. It takes definitely a little more time because when we just got it, it was a little more rough. So what Mr. Mates had us do was grab like different grits of sandpaper and sand them down from the lowest grit to a higher one, a more finer one, so it could look a little nicer, a little more polished.
This one took a little more work, and we've cleaned it up, but there was a lot of aluminum dust on the floor. And no, we're not going to teach them to gamble. In case they're in the back. Yeah, he asked me.
And then as you can see here, there's a couple other like projects we have done. Even my dad loved the toolbox. He stole it from me, so. Yep. I also really enjoyed our cowbell. The most important part, or like my favorite part, was welding it. We got to weld it. Yeah, this is where I learned to weld here in school, so I think that's pretty cool.
So the Manzana Foundation partners with Stanton, and what they offer our students is very unique. So the Manzana Foundation really believes in investing in our students, and specifically our students. So every year, 10 of our seniors get full ride scholarships to college. So that's room and board, that's their books, that's their food plans, that's everything they need to access college. That can be a tech school, a trade school, abuse, it can be anything. They can go to YBC and it'll be paid for entirely for them. So the Manzana Foundation does that every year for 10 students. And initially my understanding is when it started, it was just not, we were trying to get the 10. And now last year we had 21 apply for the scholarship. So we've got kids that are ready to go. So yeah.